Welcome to the CEO's Laundry, the first coaching podcast designed for leading CEOs. You see, CEOs face personal and professional issues just like you and me. But with a high-level position comes high-level questioning and duties. As a result, they can feel alone, misunderstood, confused, or overwhelmed. But these high-level responsibilities can also be a source of inspiration for them to look for ways to simplify their lives and optimize their results for the long run. That's why, instead of focusing on their achievements and success stories, each episode is a discussion focused on their current challenges and what lies ahead. I help them clear their minds. This way, they make room for fresh insight to refocus on themselves, give their daily lives a new boost, and strengthen their impact on the world. Be at the forefront of a podcast that reveals the reality of a human being behind the title of CEO. Hi everyone, and welcome to this new episode of the CEO's Laundry. Today I'm with Danny. Danny, thank you very much for being here today. It's a pleasure to have you. We met, we never really talked face to face, but we met a few times around the place where we live. Remember your face. So once again, thank you for being here. Thank you for having the courage and vulnerability to show up for this kind of exercise. Most people wouldn't dare to do that. So that's great that you're here today. I'll let you a few minutes to introduce yourself, introduce your business, say whatever you want to say, and then we will start from there.
Yeah, thanks for having me on here, Kevin. Really like these kind of conversations that just talk about real stuff for sure. So a bit about my business background. I've had an Amazon agency called Kenji ROI for the past 5 years. We have 25 full-time employees, and we help brands in e-commerce sell more products on Amazon with various services. Essentially, we're kind of split. We have a portion of that team here in Bali, and then a portion just spread all over the world: Canada, Singapore, United States, different places like that.
Okay. So you have 25 employees right now. Did you experience like a jump in terms of employees, or was it a gradual growth?
Yeah, there was definitely big jumps as part of that. So typically what has happened for us over the past 5 years is we go through a fast growth spurt, and then we have to kind of pump the brakes a little bit on the sales aspect, and then we have to make some improvements to the fulfillment, the operations, make things smoother there, and then we get back on the sales wagon. So it typically goes in your typical staggered kind of spiky stock market growth sort of thing. It's definitely not linear as far as we go. We did see a really big growth spike right around the start of the COVID pandemic. So March 2020 or whatever it was. Initially, it was everyone was super scared for about 2 months, and our sales went way down for like 2 months as no one wanted to spend any money. But after that, I mean, it was pretty clear that the e-commerce growth, especially on Amazon, was huge as everyone started to buy things only on Amazon instead of from the normal stores. And then we had a really big growth spurt right around that time.
Okay. And what is your annual revenue right now, if you feel like sharing?
Yeah, it's like low 7 figures or so.
Okay. So I'm really curious to know, what are your challenges right now, or maybe the main one that you have, and how this conversation together can help you overcome or solve it?
Yeah, so it's a good timing for this conversation because I'm going through something that's like you might call like a midlife crisis, even though I'm only 29 years old, but my 30th birthday is coming up next month here. So it all kind of ties into, I guess, an identity shift that that I'm going through. It's like I no longer prioritize the just growth of the business at all costs, and then I'm also just becoming a lot I don't want to say more reclusive, but like I just want to spend more time with a smaller amount of people that I really like, rather than trying to make sure that like everyone thinks that that I'm super cool, or that I have this motorcycle that is like gives off some image of like some badass guy with money or something like that. You know what I mean? So that's been the big shift that has been happening over the past over 12 months or so.
Okay. So you just told me the direction that you would like to take for the next chapter. I would say maybe one day you would decide to come back to the younger version of yourself, but right now there is a path that you want to take. And what is the challenge for you there?
The challenge for me right now is mostly on the business front. So actually, a big realization that I had as part of this is that I don't actually like managing people. And that's a problem when you have 25 employees. I don't want to have 50 employees. Even 25 is too many, in my opinion. Like I would much prefer to shift my business model in a way where I don't have to have so many employees. We can still make the same amount of profit, and maybe a lower amount of revenue. But like coming back to the ego thing, like revenue is an ego metric that is like, oh great, yeah, it's $1 million business. That's awesome. But if I could have a much smaller revenue but still make the same profit and not have the headache of having 25 employees, that I have realized I don't really want to be the guy who grows a big team and be responsible for all these people, then that's just so much more appealing to me. Because the value of growing the business is for me is not about the ego side anymore at all. So that's been the biggest challenge, is like how do I leverage our current employees in a better way so that we can simplify our team a lot more, simplify our client fulfillment, and still make the same amount of profit, and make that the goal instead of just growing at any cost. Let's just keep blasting this thing to the moon.
Okay, I got that. If I tell you that you can have less employees and make even more money, would that be interesting to you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I say that because it's not something that you told me. You told me that it would be okay to have less employees and make less revenue. You told me that it would be okay to have less employees and generate the same amount of revenue right now. But you didn't say that you could have less employees and make even more revenue. I'm curious to know why you didn't say that.
Well, the reason mostly for me is that that's not the thing that's the most important to me anymore. Is that it's the more important thing to me is to just have lower stress and have more freedom in being able to just step away from the business for longer periods of time, things like that. And I don't really care to push it to the absolute limit too. Like you just have all these aspirations to, want to be 8-figure entrepreneur and all of these things. But at the end of the day, I realized it doesn't really change the way that I live. Like I have a pretty hard time spending more money than I currently make in my current lifestyle. And I don't think my lifestyle would change too much if I 10x my income or 50x my income. So the goal is for me is like, I don't really care to make more money than we currently make. I care more to have more freedom of time and make the business a little bit more smooth and less problems and less stress.
Yeah, I got that from you. I got that making more money wouldn't change much. I can feel that from what you say. Just putting on the table some possibilities. But if you could have less employees generating more money while having more fun and freedom than ever, would you take that?
Why would I take having more fun and freedom over more money?
The whole package.
Oh yeah, I mean, for sure it'd be better to have the whole package. Yeah, you're right about that.
Okay. So if you could choose this package or the package of less employees, exact same amount of revenue than right now, and freedom and fun, which package would you choose?
Yeah, I mean, this one, assuming that there's no trade-off between the amount of freedom and the amount of profit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is no trade-off. There is just one package where there is less employees and more money.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds better for sure.
Yeah. Okay. I feel something like in what you say that I don't say that I'm right. I don't say that I know what is going on in your head, but I feel like when you're talking in the some words that you use, that there is something in the subconscious that links money and ego and the way you can show up and the way people can perceive you based on the topic of money.
Yeah, that's accurate. Yeah. That's kind of part of the identity shift that I'm going through, is just realizing more that doesn't bring me it doesn't ring true for me anymore as it used to. It used to ring a lot more true, where it's I really wanted to be seen as, someone that has money, someone that has earned business success and things like that. And it's probably why I was using the terminology is like, just make the same amount of money with less employees and everything like that, is because that's the goal that I'm after, is really something different. That's not the main focus, right? I mean, of course it's better if there's more money and also less employees, but it's also kind of the part of the identity shift is just being like letting go of all of those parts of my old identity that I identified with the having money, like always having to freaking have all the nicest stuff or stay in the nicest places, or all these things that like ultimately I don't really care about. It's if I stay in a super cheap hotel versus a freaking the Hilton or freaking whatever, like I can just feel okay about that, and not like it means something about about my identity.
That's what I call spirituality. For me, spirituality is simply being more of who you are at core. And the more you embody that, the more you go through the fear of who you really want to be, which is somehow different of who we are and how we show up. The more we are spiritual, that's the definition of spirituality for me. It has nothing to do with cacao or manifestation or meditation or the kind of lifestyle or the kind of clothes that you wear. That's different topic for me. So what I hear is that you want to be more of you, so you want to be closer to your spiritual being. And the thing is that your spiritual being is in expansion all the time. You seek growth. By coming back to who you think you are, you're seeking growth. So you're seeking expansion of yourself. And I share that right now because I believe that in your quest, that could be something to dig. That could be something interesting for you. Is like,
how could I be more of who I'm seeking right now? And having everything around me grow positively. And my business can grow positively. And that can mean having less employees. That can be a positive growth for you, and having way more money. What crossed your mind when I say those things?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. I think that's really definitely part of the identity shift that that I am still going through, is really just getting, you know, shedding that old. I mean, it's a dual image, right? It's a really what I'm looking at is how I see that other people see me, which obviously we're human beings. We all care about how other people think of us, you know, no matter how enlightened you are or anything like that. But at the end of the day, it's how you feel about how other people see you. And just like the current part of my identity that I don't resonate with anymore is that, I mean, especially in a place like Bali, where there's a lot of people who are much lower income, people just treat you very differently if they know that you're someone who has a decent amount of money. And it just doesn't feel right to me, right? It just doesn't feel like now you're just dealing with a different energy towards the way that people interact with you, and it just doesn't resonate with who I feel to be, right, at this point in my life. So it's yeah, for me, I guess it's a relationship with not only the external image of the way I think that other people see me, but it's also like, how do I see myself and my own identity related to money.
Yeah, I can feel that. So we are going to the core of a challenge here, is that you are affected by what people can possibly think of you. And that impacts. It's like it's a change against. It's there a change for something, and there is a change against something. There is a and that can be driven too. It's like I'm driven by the change against those people because I don't want to be perceived this way. So this is what I'm gonna do, so that if I don't make this amount of money, if I'm not labeled as this kind of person, then they won't judge me this way. So there is a perception here that is interesting for you, and a challenge on that is interesting for you, because I have absolutely no doubt that, I mean, you're wise, you're smart, you're brilliant, you're aware and self-aware. There is absolutely no doubt that you will handle and manage your identity shift in 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years. There is no timeline for identity shifts. It's never ending, and can take more or less time than we expect. It's okay. But you see, my responsibility as a coach is to mirror yourself right now and to see where you have areas of growth that can be even more impactful for you. And from what you say, it could be really impactful to grow into that direction that you described. But by making even more money and giving less of a shit of what people can think about you being a multimillionaire.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right about that.
Yeah. While being coming back to who you want to be, who you are seeking right now. It's like closer to, I will use some guru words, like closer to the truth. I don't really know what it means, but it's that. It's like we're seeking something that is not really tangible, and we don't really know the outcome, and we don't really know how to get there. That's what I understand by getting closer to the truth. What is one takeaway that you got from this conversation so far?
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest insights is really just separating the parts of my identity and ego that identify with money from actually my ability to earn money or actually earning money, right? I think there definitely is something to that, actually just wanting to like distance myself from that more, and like parts of myself have just wanted to be like, yeah, what if I just completely shut down everything and just freaking chilled out for for a while and just didn't make any money. But that's kind of my extreme side of my personality coming through. Is I always like to do things that are extreme, but it's not really necessary.
So let's play around that for a bit. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes, because I want you to use your imagination and visualization. So you live in Canggu in Bali, Indonesia. Where is a place that you like to hang out or to walk around?
I like the gym, Body Factory, or around there, different cafes around that area.
Okay. So imagine that you're around there. You are in your you wear your usual clothes, either flip-flop or shoes, or nothing, just barefoot. And you're walking around. You are you. You are the you that you're seeking. Closer to the identity that you're seeking right now. So you can visualize yourself walking. You can see that even physically there is a change, even if it's a tiny change, maybe just in the way your back is, or your shoulders, or your head, or the way you walk. But there is that sense of wisdom, inner peace, freedom, fun, maturity, deep self-awareness of who you are that shine through you. And then there are some people who look at you. They look at you, and when they see you, they smile. Like they are pointing you with their fingers. They are talking about you in their friends here. Like, hey, that's Danny. That's the guy who is so close to who he is. And then there is someone that comes to talk to you. Hey, Danny, thank you for being who you are. You are a multi-millionaire model for me. I love it. Thank you for being who you are. And you're used to that. Bring that feeling of habit, of people smiling at you because of who you are. You have your ego saying like, but do you realize what people are going to think about you, about all the money that you make? And just answer your ego like, that's okay, mate. That's your storytelling. That's not mine. You're free to believe what you want. That's not my belief. It's your belief. I know it's not the truth. Look, people love me. Whenever you want, you can open your eyes again. How do you feel?
Yeah, it's a powerful visualization. I think it's important to be able to future pace that vision.
What's in your mind right now?
Yeah, just that I think that's something that I should definitely do some meditations on. I can see that that visualization exercise definitely is good, but then also doing some more meditations and journaling on that whole topic, I think would be really beneficial.
I believe so, because you have multiple purpose for the identity shift that you want to make right now. And one of them comes from a limiting belief. And that's around the topic of caring about what people could possibly think of you. And this won't be solved by your identity shift. It will be solved by you purposefully working on this topic alone, challenging this topic, proving to yourself that it's not truth, that you don't want to be impacted by what people think of you because of this or this or this or that. And then you can be more in peace into the process of identity shift, because you don't do it for the reason of what can other people think of you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just you seeking your truth. That's all.
Yeah, man, it's been that's powerful. That's powerful. Yeah, thanks for having me, Kevin, and appreciate the insights and good to have a good real conversation about these types of things.